Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, March 23rd and Sunday, March 24th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I expand as I yield to soul. And yield. Again, I asked Joe, I was like, what do you think for this weekend? He gave me a bunch of things, but the thing that really stuck was the yield energy, and that clicks, that works. We have some really strong energies that we are working with. Before I dig into that, I do want to say, if you are interested in my Astro class, come join the info group because I am rounding out my group of participants, and I have 2 scholarships available. I'm going to be closing that out on Monday. Any emails requesting being gifted scholarship. And and I want to get my group solidified. So if you are interested, come join my group. The link is below on this YouTube video, or you can always email me with any questions that you may have. Okay, so let's dig into this astro. Like I said, yield, and that is because we do have the moon in Scorpio, which is amping up sun in Aries energy. Both signs are ruled by Mars, and I do have this intensity card for this. So the intensity is going to be strong. Now, what is nice is that overall, the connections going on right now with the moon in the astro are fairly positive. But that being said, Scorpio can bring intensity to even the most delightful connections. Scorpio is always willing to go to the dark side. And by that, I don't necessarily mean bad. I just mean Scorpio is willing to plumb the depths. Scorpio is willing to go where no man has gone before. So be aware of that. Now, our first and only real strong connection that is happening on Saturday is a connection with the moon in Scorpio and Neptune in Pisces. So you want to spend some time allowing emotions, allowing that to come forth. It may feel intense, like a deluge at some point, but allow that energy to come forth, come through. This is also really strong energy for connecting to intuition and allowing information to come through. Neptune is still hanging out at 16 degrees. That's 7 degrees. 7 energy corresponds to that. Sorry, I've got a la-la here. Corresponds to that Neptune energy. So super strong intuition, thin veil energy, and the moon in Scorpio just kind of kicks that door open, actually, a little bit further. Where was I just about to go with that? One thing with this that just popped up. Scorpio energy can sometimes tune us into fears. And I think sometimes we block this stuff because we get afraid. And I think it's, fear has a little bit of healthiness to it, as it can protect us from, potentially negative situations. It's always good to hold energy of, this is connected to the light. Knowing how to clear yourself, protect yourself if need be. All of that's really important. So keep that in mind as you do connect in, but yield to your soul. Where is your soul guiding you? That's the other thing I think to notice. The Aries energy really does push us and make us want to move, as well as the Taurus energy that's going on. We've got Mars in Taurus, and so Mars in Taurus is kind of pushing that further. Like, I've got to do the things. I've got to get them done so they get done. But it's really important that we yield to the soul path, to the soul alignment, because that's going to guide you the way you want to be, instead of guiding you into that intensity and guiding you into unnecessary toil. Okay. Okay, so we then have Sunday. Sunday's energy. Sunday's energy has the moon making several connections, and again, a Neptune connection. This is probably the bigger one. Mercury conjunct Neptune today. So yesterday we had the moon conjunct Neptune. Today we have Mercury conjunct Neptune. Again, there are answers for you out there. You've asked Spirit so many things, and those answers are there. And your job is to tune in and listen. Now, at the same time, do I have the card? I don't have the past lives card. Oh, but I do have this. I really do feel, as Mercury did begin at that 29 degree of Pisces, and it is connecting to Neptune, that there is some completion energy. So pay attention to what does pop up in your mind and see how you can bring closure, especially if this is something that's been coming around over and over and over again, especially if it has to do with any connections that you may have, because that's what I feel like it's meant to be doing. Clearing out, closing out some karma. Completion. Yes, let's get that done. Moon in Scorpio is making all of the other connections besides the Jupiter yod, which is ongoing through the weekend. And that's what I want to remind you. Despite the Scorpio willingness to go into the dark, Jupiter, the Jupiter yod, which is being fed into by the North Node, nurturing yourself, and that Mars energy, Mars and Taurus, knowing your worth, using your creative gifts. Jupiter is saying, reach for the light, reach for the good. Do not keep yourself out of the good. Do not keep yourself out of the light. If you go to any dark places, if you have heavy emotions, feel the Mars angst, or feel the fear come up. How can you bring light to yourself? If you have fear come up, where is the wound that's connecting to the fear? If you have that angst come up, what is the frustration block? Can you bring the light to that? The emotions. You gotta love yourself through the emotions. The emotions are gonna come and go. They're like waves. It's like tides. We've all got them. Can you love yourself enough to allow and then hold yourself in order to bring yourself back to that equilibrium place? So that's part of the work, and Jupiter reminds us of that. Jupiter also reminds us, hey, part of your nurturing and part of helping you keep going is being able to see things from the higher perspective, realizing that sometimes we see with the little goggles on and we're not seeing the bigger picture that is available to us. All right, so Moon is also connecting into that Mercury-Neptune connection. Moon brings up that which is hidden. Moon connecting in Scorpio. Like I said, I feel like it's really old karma. These may be old fears from past lives. And I got to tell you, what I've learned from my past lives, one thing across the board in every past life, I did not get out any of those things alive. And we have within us this desire to survive. It's biological, but this desire to survive. And so the spirit that has this desire to survive may become fearful because there's this memory of being taken out, even though the soul moves on. Sometimes we over-identify with with the body, with that energy. So just realize that, and that may be the place where you need to bring the light to. Let's see. Soul work. This is a big weekend for soul work. That's what I get as I keep looking at this energy. Can you show up and do the work your soul is asking you to do? Can you yield your desires and the results that you think you should be at to where the soul is guiding you right now? Good word, Joe. Yield. Yes. Very, very pertinent for this energy. Moon will oppose Mars. That may bring this up again. I should be doing this thing, but yet I have this calling, this deeper calling inside. For so long, this has been our soul energy to us. The soul's been locked outside the gate, and more we're coming into this space of balance. Being able to live on this earth, but connecting to our highest spiritual selves. So notice where you're still blocking those parts of yourself. Notice where you are fighting those parts of yourself. You may feel the angst outside of you with the moon in Scorpio, but chances are there's still some fight going on within you where you're not willing to see, where you haven't been able to bring your consciousness yet. And again, no shame. It's part of the process. It's part of the learning curve, and we all have those places. And suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I see it. And then it's like, oh, hallelujah. Final two aspects. Moon will square Venus. Venus in, again, this brings up the shadow. Venus in Aquarius. Where are you not loving yourself? Where are you hiding pieces of yourself? One of the best tools for healing is full embrace of what you are, and then the willingness to bring the light to the places that need it. Finally, Moon will shift into Sagittarius late in the evening on Sunday. That is sure to spark some fiery energy that we'll get into on Monday. Like I said, come join my astrology group for the class that I'm going to be beginning right after Mercury retrograde. We're still discussing the final dates and times and all that. As I like to do things as a community. But come check that out if you are interested, or email me with any questions. You can always book a reading. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There is more than enough love in the world for you, and you do have the power. Namaste.